But welcome. Find your way into a comfortable seat. And just take your hands and just grab yourself. Squeeze your knees, squeeze your thighs. Maybe do a little rub on your kidney area. Feeling how quickly you feel warmth there and how nice it feels. And shake out your arms, maybe do a little snake arms. And then settle into a comfortable seat. Close your eyes. Feel that you're sitting, that you're in your body. And take a moment to dedicate your class to someone who needs some healing, some love, some guidance or attention. And we're going to sound 3 ohms. So bring your hands to heart center. Lift up your heart. Soften your shoulders behind you. Empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. Relax your hands and flutter your eyes open. And we are going to do a couple of morning wows. So really nice practice first thing in the morning while you're still lying in bed is to wake up and you do wow with your face. Wow, wow, wow. Beautiful. And we're then going to come into a wide-kneed child's pose. So taking your feet together, knees as far apart as possible, and then stretch your arms out. Forehead comes to the ground. Make the small adjustments you need to, and then settle into your wide-kneed child's pose. So starting your days out with a wow is very I want to say it's like the elementary version of what Buddhists invite you to do when you first wake up. And that invitation is to wake up, and the first thing you want to do is you actually want to think about things that you're grateful for. But I find this face yoga wow is also very much along the same lines. And when we take a couple minutes in the first thing in the morning to kind of wake up our sense of gift, our sense of having gratitude, wow, our wow factor, we can also let it rise up and be even more a little bit sacred and really come into this realm of reverence, of awe. That despite all of our mundane challenges, our everyday headaches and hardships and struggles, we still have this incredible opportunity being alive on earth now. And in the work that Rudolf Steiner does, he really invites anybody who's vaguely interested in any sort of spiritual practice to start from this place where you want to develop awe, you want to develop reverence for the whole cosmos. We naturally get this feeling woken up in us when we have the chance to be outside under the sky on a bright, clear, starry night. We see it in children that's, you bring them out on a starry night and it's automatic. They just open up that way. But even in us slow adults, the starry sky can work on us, on this, giving us a sense of belonging and reverence at the same time. Take another full inhale. Exhale it out. And then maybe it feels a little bit like swimming forward, but find your way into a sphinx. Maybe you already think of a seal because, seals swim. I mean, I bet sphinxes could probably swim because they're so cool. But I've never seen a sphinx swim. So settle in. You want your elbows as wide as your shoulders, so you can just always grab opposite elbows to match them up. Separate your legs as much as is comfortable. So if your lower back tends to be flexible and open and no problems, you take your legs wide. If you're a little bit more sensitive in your lower back, take your legs closer together. As you make the small adjustments to make the posture your own, also observe what reactions bubble up when you come into a pose. So one of the realms that I like to remember to invite wonder and awe into is in my relationship to my own body. And in general, just how brilliant the human body is. It's so easy to get distracted and pulled aside into this hurts, that hurts, this isn't the way I like it, this is making it hard for me, this is a struggle, this is where I'm weak. But in our body, we house so many elements of fruits of past development, both in our personal life, but also in the life on earth, in the epochs and epochs of transformation the archetype of the human body has moved through. So even if we think we're too fat and we're too skinny or too short or too tall or too funny looking or too gorgeous, whatever, all the variations, like we are at the peak of development in terms of the human body. It's perfected. And we can find our reverence ignited when we realize how awesome it is that our organs function without our having to understand them. And how grateful I am that even while I sleep, my body can still breathe. My heart still beats. My food is still digested. We can notice the variety of different awarenesses we have in our body. Where we are so uber consciousness when it comes to the elements, really actually at the periphery of our body, most noticeably in our head, with all of our senses, or how skilled we can become in learning how to use our hands, or how far we can go with our feet. Let your shoulders slide a little bit like a little bit on purpose down your back, and then turn your chin to the right. Lift your chin up a little bit and purse your lips. Like you're making the I'm a beautiful queen face. It should come naturally. It's all right. You can do whatever side first. But feel like you're jutting out your jaw so you can feel a stretch in your neck. And then release and bring your chin back through center and take it to the other side. Maybe you have to, like me, have to remind yourself to pull your shoulders down, purse your lips a little bit, puff them up, push your lower jaw a little forward. And then come back to center. And then either staying in Sphinx or stretching your arms up simultaneously, look up, stick out your tongue, and then like you're a Venus flytrap. No, like you're a lizard who can shoot out their tongue. Stick out your tongue and wag it side to side. And then gently release, softening down all the way to the floor, bringing your forearms together, resting your forehead onto your forearms. So our face is full of muscles, and when we use them, we tone our face just the same way we tone muscles in our body when we use them. And one of the biggest muscles in our face is our tongue. So that's why we use our tongue too. And then lift up onto your forearms. Now, right now, I was wishing I had forearms, but I mean the bottom part of your arms. Tuck your toes and push your heels back. And then lift your right foot up so it's just a couple centimeters over the ground. You'll notice that's harder than lifting it higher. And then bring your right knee forward. Stretch your left toes back. Now stretch through your big toe on your left foot so that your foot isn't sickled. And I always find it nice to lift up here for a moment just to make the right adjustments. If you don't feel like you have any freedom, you can take your right knee more out to the right. You can bend your left knee a little bit if you need to. And you got it. Then turn it into the sleeping swan, which is the yin version of pigeon. Stretch your arms forward if that's there for you, or make a pillow for your head with your forearms again. So in our very left brain, what else do I want to say about, like, our world is so full of facts and intelligence and celebrating smartness instead of wisdom, and all of this intellectual activity is so praised and so prized that sometimes when someone expresses wonder or awe in the starry sky or in the universe or in the miracle of our own physical body, it's easy to react and dismiss that person as being naive, as being too childlike for our serious times that we're living in. But this habit of reverence is so easy to lose that we want to remind ourselves to actually actively, on purpose, call up these appreciations that live within us as often as we can, especially if we're pursuing any type of healing or spiritual practice, which by doing yoga, I'm going to say you're doing right now. Because in our yoga practice, we're reminded that we can't, I can't take out a part of myself and just leave it over there, or, I can't practice and not remember who I am, or I can't separate elements of myself and just send the good parts to yoga or send the bad parts to yoga. No, instead I come as this perfectly amazing bodied person full of flaws and challenges and a history of mistakes. And I come onto my yoga mat and I want to invite as much as myself to be celebrated and held in this kind of preciousness of reverence, of being in a holy situation, as it is actually to be alive on earth. When we look at all the planets in the cosmos, in the universe that we've identified, and we think about how long it will take to come back to the alignments that we see now, we come up to like lots and lots and lots of big bands of time. And there's some actually very fun and sophisticated math around this, but basically we can imagine that we, in a lifetime that is about 70 to 80 years, we're alive for one cosmic day. Not a cosmic year. One cosmic day. And this being alive on earth in a physical body with a full soul, with a spirit, is a holy situation. With incredible opportunities, mostly delivered through really, really hard lessons and challenges. Perhaps similar to how a diamond is built under pressure, or an oak tree becomes strong because it stands in the winds. With your next inhale, start to walk your hands back towards your chest, lifting up your chest. And then take your back leg around, sweep it around, and we're going to come into shoelace. So you could just neatly stack your left knee on top of your right, but I'm not neat. So I'm going to do... I'm going to come up onto my knees so I can wiggle around a little bit and take my feet a little further out. And this just gives me a little nicer bind, and I can usually come a little deeper into the pose. You can also take your hands next to your hips and just slide your pelvis back. And then start to roll over your top knee, your left knee, letting your chest come towards your knee, or your chin towards your knee, or your forehead towards your knee, or your chin in front of your knee. But take a full inhale, and with your exhale, let your elbows be heavy and soften down, stretching your arms forward. In the very simplest of terms, or a simple imagination that is quite challenging and holy and big, is that in our present lifetime, the way we move out of our body, the way we move into acts of will, what we do, what we say, what we bring to life, what we create, how we are to each other, how we are to ourselves. This is part of what sculpts our inner reality when we're in the spirit realm. And the activity that we move through after death, as we move through the different planetary realms, is part of what creates our insides for when we're reborn again on earth. So we can think of this evolution as this very elaborate turning inside out, as a process, as like a movement of growth. We're not going to stay there the whole 5 minutes. You might be happy as me to hear that. Walk your hands back towards you. And then you have your left leg on top, so it's kind of pushing down your right thigh. You're then going to slide your left arm out to the left and stretch your right arm over your head, stretching your whole right side body. Exactly. Feeling your left elbow get heavier. Feel as you breathe, how you feel like you can breathe space into your intercostals. So we get a very small taste of this inside out process in occult physiology when we start to understand how the planets and the planetary realms have to do with our different organs. And then inhale, lift up, and put your left foot on the ground. Take your left hand behind you, stretch up with your right hand. We're going to come into an active twist and twist away from your right arm to the left. Maybe you hook your elbow to the outside, maybe not. So it is the yang version. If it's too easy, you just need to switch your arms, but you all look great. And then from the twist, keep your body in the twist, but allow your chin to come over your right shoulder. Now the secret name of this pose is xoxo. It's not the traditional name. It's because everyone just looks so sexy in this pose. And then unwind completely and just give a little bow to that right hand side. And then stretch your legs out in front of you. Reach your arms up. And then hinge forward. Lift your chest up again and exhale, soften it. Letting your elbows hang. Imagining your chest coming down in between your knees. So we're doing a liver and gallbladder series today. And for me, this is the mood of our week. On Sunday, Mars went direct. After being in the sign of the moon in Cancer, after being retrograde since December. And then on this coming Friday, we have a new moon in Pisces. And Pisces is ruled by Neptune, but the traditional ruler is Jupiter. And now roll up, place your hands behind you, bend your knees. We're going for a lion. Lift your hips, drop your head back, stick out your tongue, look at your third eye, and with a whisper, roar. Actively push the ground away. Let's do it again. Take a full inhale and exhale. Noch einmal. And then bring your hips down, but don't let them touch the ground. Lift your butt up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then bring your butt down. Just a little fire there for you. And then we're going to come cross your ankles, roll onto your knees, and this time come to a normal plank, pushing your heels back. So last time we transitioned through a forearm plank. Lift up your left foot so your toes are a little bit higher than the floor. And then bring your left knee forward, setting up for swan, for sleeping swan. Stretch your big toes back, lift up your heart. And then start to move your hands forward, coming into your version of sleeping swan, our yin pigeon. So in the yin series, the gallbladder and the liver are kind of the most yang pair of all the yin and yang pairs. Or another way to put it is, this is kind of one of the more fiery yin practices because both the liver and the gallbladder are quite masculine, even though in this pairing, the liver is the yin organ. Today we actually have Mercury conjunct Saturn. So we can always think whenever there's an aspect with Saturn in the transits. It's this like reforming, reshaping, remodeling our form to facilitate our spiritual development. And Mercury has so much to do with communication, how we understand as well as how we are understood. And so we can think of, we're celebrating this day a little bit as like maturing our expression, maturing our understanding. And we can notice that in Chinese medicine, how when it comes to matters around the liver, there's always a theme of our relationship to anger, as well as our relationship to kindness. And isn't kindness really the ultimate kind of version of the maturing of our communication? So we notice that it's often miscommunication or assumptions that come before anger. And what really marks kindness is that it's very specific in every situation. So if you're asking for a bike and I give you a knife, it's not very generous, it's not very kind. But if you're asking for a bike and I'm able to give you a bike, that's pretty cool. That's kindness. Kindness is an ability to respond not out of your reaction, but out of who you want to be. Not necessarily how you feel right now. Which is very challenging because we also, we want to be honest. We want to be self-expressed. And being kind to ourselves isn't always indulging the way we feel. It's sometimes actually making ourselves do something opposite to how we feel. Or doing something that isn't just what would bring us immediate pleasure or comfort or numbness, but instead will work on us in the future. And so then the question arises, how is it that we can do this, that we can act out of ourselves, but not out of just our reaction, but how we act out of freedom to create something new. Start to walk your hands back, lifting up your chest, and then sweeping, I kicked my book away. Dramatically sweeping your right leg forward. Maybe you want to do that crawling around thing. We usually crawl before we can walk. Not always. Maybe you do the little hip thing where you slide your hips back and then pelvis moves back and you can roll down. But find your way into shoelace pose. Shoelace. Take a full inhale with your exhale side out and see where you can soften, if you can let your elbows get heavy. So this spot where we are able to act out of not our baseness, but our ideals, not our mood or feeling right now, but out of our morality, out of what we believe is right. This is truly the place that we're here on earth for. That's why we're alive. And when we can cultivate real kindness, this is where we strengthen our capacity to work here. So I can frame it in a little bit of a different way. So when we notice we have our physical body and we have our etheric body, this body that's responsive to warmth and cold and light and dark. And then we have our astral body, this body of desire and dreams and feelings and motivations. And then we have the higher ego, the I. When we are able to act not exactly how we feel, but how we want to become, that actually is a purification process of our astral body. So, I don't know about you, but I notice my desire is so rampant. Like, I could eat a lot of food. I want to, I like imbibing things, or I like, being messed up, or I like being comfortable. I like lots of things. But when I'm able not just to go with my physical desire or my temporary desire, and instead I choose a little bit that slower path, the harder path, it purifies that little bit of my astral body, which is one of our main jobs in this lifetime, to purify our life of desire. And this topic is so salient because Pisces is both the addict and the apostle. I start to roll up. And on this time, you're pinning down your left leg. So you're going to slide not just your hair to the right, but you're going to slide your elbow to the right, and then drape your left arm over your ear, feeling as you surrender to gravity on your right side, it stretches and lovingly pulls on your left. And what happens when we do these small acts, now let me just take a little time out here. Back to having reverence for what's possible and just keeping it in a holy place. Like, we're not expected to change everything all at once and be perfect like that. Like an oak tree, it's a gradual growth. At one point you observe and you do the thing anyways that your body desires. And certain desires, like, you're probably going to still eat food for a while at least. But every time we make these little shifts, it helps bring us closer to being able to know who we truly are. Now come back up to seated. That shift helps too. And step your right foot on the ground. We balance out the yin with a little yang. So you can always slide your right foot more forward, then stretch your left arm up and take the twist. And beautiful, if you have a practice where you can bind, take the bind if you want to. Being in it actively, you can push down through the ball of your big right toe, helping you twist away from it, your toe that is. And then let your chin come back around, coming into that gorgeous S twist. Oh yeah. And then unwind. And you're going to grab the back of your thighs. You're going to lift up your feet so you're just balancing on your sacrum. Now try to pull your knees and your chest together. And then stretch your arms out, and maybe you can stretch your legs out. Now, since this is a little celebration of the Pisces new moon, we're going to do Spandasana. What? Oh yeah. Like interpretive dance, man. Oh, do you see those pretty lights? They're so amazing. There's like a whole universe out there. Oh yeah? And then find your way softly and beautifully coming closer and closer to your yoga mat. Aha, fantastic. And then you're going to walk both of your feet to the right corner of your mat. And that might be enough for you. Or if you have a little bit more, you're going to hook your left foot over, your left heel over your right ankle. And then stretch your arms above your head. And you're going to pull your left hand to the right. Banana asana. So we're so, we're so great. No, we're so complicated. One of, with Pisces, really you can think of like, here we have moved through the zodiac from Aries all the way through the personal, the interpersonal, the transpersonal. We've moved through all the archetypes, and this is the 12th archetype. It is the end and the beginning. And Pisces really has it includes all of the zodiac signs. It includes all of the stuff. It really is this place where we are undividable. So in a lot of our astrology work, we say, mystic or addict. But I think even truer to Pisces is that it's both. We are both the saint and the sinner. We are both, so base physical beings as well as holy spirits. And one of the places to have reverence for is that despite all of my sins, all of my missing the mark or my errors, I am still a spiritual, holy human being. Because I am in the process of working, because I can purify this. And it's so beautiful when we look at how the zodiac shows up in our body in terms of the areas that it rules. We start with Aries and the head. Spirit, it's like our head is closest to the stars. That's where the stars hit us first. And then we move through the body, and, we've got the chest area for Cancer. And I'm not going to go through all of them, but all the way down till we get to our feet. And that's what Pisces rules. And we know from reflexology that the bottoms of our feet have points that correspond to everything in our body. So feel this stretch from your feet to your hands, reaching your side body, stretching your side body open. And then release and start to wiggle, move, and find your way into the other side of Banana Asana. As you notice, bananas only have one curve. So now you're going to be a different banana. Same, but different. So take both of your heels to your left, right ankle hooks on top. Stretch your arms over your head, grabbing onto your right hand. And you all know that we eat bananas upside down, right? Feel how your breath moves for your body. Notice your inhale, your exhale. Especially when we're stretching our side body and the side of our ribs, we can really feel that maybe we do have something that reminds us of a temple in our physicality. And close your eyes if you want, and then you can also be reconnected to this incredible vast space that lies within. That here on earth you might take up a certain amount of space, but when you close your eyes and you become more than just your body, more than just what's here physically, when you become your whole self, there is a vastness. Think about the whole starry sky. Isn't it cool that in our imagination it fits into our whole being? There's room for everything there. So the modern ruler of Pisces is Neptune. And right now, Neptune, I would say, is close enough still to the North Node that it's conjunct. And so one of the many, many inroads to looking at Neptune is that it's the higher octave of Venus. And Venus, one way we can connect to Venus is noticing what our morality is, what our values are. And so an higher octave of that is really what are our cosmic morality? What is the ways in which we connect to the divine? And the North Node is the spot in our charts that our soul needs to embody to get to where it wants to go. So it is, the head of the dragon. We want to embody our North Node to find our way. And when we look at the collective chart, that it's right here, along with Neptune, the last degrees of Pisces. Isn't it calling on us to get more comfortable with connecting to our spirit to find our way forward? And then start to wiggle your whole body back to center. Hug your knees in. Maybe lift up your face and kiss your knees. Thank you. And we're doing just a cathartic twist. So it's not a yin pose, but just a little, like wringing out our laundry after the final rinse. So hug your knees in and take both of your knees to the left. Any version you want. You can do twisted root if you prefer, or one-legged. Breathe in, pull in the breath, and with your exhale, sigh it out. And then hug your beautiful knees back to center and take the other side, same, but different. Squeeze in, sigh out your next exhale. Feel your body respond. And then come back to center and set up for Shavasana, for corpse pose. So in yin yoga, we often have the legs a little bit wider than we traditionally do. Arms out a little bit further. It's a little bit like we come into our star selves. Eyes closed. And rather than drifting away into the vastness, see if you can keep your precious attention here in your room, in your body, around your body, on your mat. With your next inhale, start to invite your breath to the edges of your body. Notice where you were. How far did you go? And wiggle around a little bit. And then with your next inhale, stretch your arms up over your head. Stretch your feet away from your hands. And then curl into a ball, coming onto your right side. And help yourself up into a comfortable seat. And we're going to take Anahata Mudra, which symbolizes an open heart or a chalice. I just want to give a little shout out to Rudolf Steiner, whose 164th birthday is today. Let your chest open, let your eyes close. If you dedicated your class to someone, think of them, picture their face, smiling and happy. Take a full inhale for 1 Om. And bring your hands to prayer. Place your thumbs on your third eye. Lift your heart and invite the divine light. As we bow forward, together we say, Namaste. And so much love. Thank you.